Yeah, hi all. Thanks for joining. Please confirm whether you guys can see the screen and can hear me. And also, please wait for another 5 more minutes for people to join. Yeah, okay. Thanks, everyone, for confirming. So let's wait for a few minutes. So yeah. And while we are waiting, did someone face any issue while accessing the drive or any issues you had, like while setting up your machine? Like, let's say if you opted for VMware. Did anyone face any issue? Please do let me know. We can fix that. And there is a minor issue with the VMware workstation. So there is a command for that. I will show you how to fix that. Like the issue is like your IP might not populate. So let's say if you're typing or if you want to get the IP, sometimes after reboot, it might not. Okay, so there is a fix for that. I will show you the command as well. So let's see. And today's agenda also would be like the basics. So first thing we'll do the installation part, and we'll give the basic idea about what are all the essential commands and those things. Okay, and what is shell? Those basic things we'll discuss. Let's wait for another 2 more minutes and we'll start the session. Yeah, I guess we can start the session. So once again, welcome to the session. So today we'll be seeing or we'll set up the lab for our course. And the first thing, yesterday we left with the installation, right? So once it is installed, so this is the screen you will see. Okay. So basically, this is the lock screen. So just click inside and press any button and don't click user one and login. So right away we'll click not listed and type root. So root is nothing but a on the notepad. Um, so root is nothing but an admin account, which is similar to your admin account, which you use in your any system like your Windows Server or your Windows. When here we see the admin account, right? So similarly, root is the admin account for the Linux machines, and for that we need to log into it right away. Okay, and just give root, and the password is the same which we given yesterday. In my case, it is 1234, and you can set whatever password you want, but it should be bit easy for you to figure out. Okay, so just give 1234 if it is fine, because anyhow this is a one-time setup. After that, we will save this session. Okay, so Not every time you need to type the password. So yeah, so you can close this pop-up and yeah, this as well. Go to activities, close this, and this is the similar to your start menu, and this is the GUI version. Okay, so yeah, this is the GUI of REM 8, and go to terminal. So this is just like your command prompt, and yeah, so right away we are logged in. Just type if config -a, and these are all. So first thing, if config is a command, and every day whatever commands I discuss, I will just leave it in a kind of summary for the first few sessions. Why? Because it's the initial time for you, right? So easily you can't understand, or you can't, okay, make use of the log, which even that I will be providing you every day, whatever commands we execute. But still, it is kind of a summary of whatever commands discussed for the particular session. Okay, so if config -a. And while we are here, you can check the what is the date command. So date will give the default date. So we will change this later session while we do the NTP configuration. And there is a command called as uptime. So don't worry about this shell and all. So today's session, we will see what is this thing like root at the rate localhost and what is this symbol. Everything we'll see. But as of now, just you can execute these commands once you're logged into the server for the first time. Okay. So just you're getting the server's information. So the next one is your system state, uptime, and you can check the server version. So where what is the version we installed as in Red Hat release? Yeah, it is 8.4, and that's the same which we also installed. Right. So for the people who are having hard time finding the drive or the link, so just type uh, bit.ly linux ll. So just give enter, and yeah. So this is your drive link or the resource. You just go to installation files and you can locate it. Okay, so this is the ISO, the same version only we did install. And if you're having hard time in downloading this ISO, please try the torrent way. So just download this qubit torrent and execute this torrent. It will be automatically downloading. Why torrent? In the sense you can actually pause and resume if you're having a unstable network, right? So because this size is bit huge, right? So that's the reason. Sometimes if it is interrupted, again it will start from the first. Since it is a UDP download, it will start downloading again from the 0 KB. So that is very annoying, right? So that's the reason I included the torrent version as well. So as well as this exe, the VMware workstation, and the installation along with the key. Okay. And while we are here, please do download this Kitty. So first thing, what is Kitty? So Kitty is a fork of Putty. Putty is a remote connection software. So just like for the people who might already know remote connection in your Windows server, so you have MSDSC. So if you give that remote desktop connection, so using this, you can connect to any system anywhere if you have the DNS or the IP of it, right? And if you have the credentials of it, and that similar case, you can use the Kitty. And there are many versions. You have Super Putty and yeah, Mobile Exterm. So Super, the actual Putty itself, and yeah, many there. I prefer this one. Why? Because this is the same as Putty, and a few features. The most important feature for me is you can save the session with the password. So that's a very important thing because it's a one-time setup, and you can forget the password also because anyhow it will be there in the session. So yeah, that's a very good thing. And yeah, so please do. download this one. So yeah, just right click, download. It's finished. Okay. So open and so in your case you won't see these two. So fine. But first thing you will see the same like your putty. So if you ever use putty before, the same almost same it is. Few additional features are there like scripting might not be there in your putty. Here it is, and in data section this might not be there in your putty. Here it is. Okay. So first thing you need to get the system's IP. So for that only we type the command called as ifconfig. So basically what is this is, it will give the NIC information of your machine. So NIC in the sense network interface card. So we got the NIC information and this is the IP it populated. And sometimes you might face this IP is not showing here. That's a very rare scenario, but let's say you are having that issue. So you just need to type this command. So nmclin of semicolon nmclin on. So basically we are restarting it. You just give enter. It did executed and the same IP will be populated. Okay. So in that case, you can use that. Okay. So the command is nmclin off and this is to IP is now populated. Okay, so that's the thing. And yeah, so let's get the IP. Let's say copy. So just select and from here you can paste it. Okay, and so right away don't give open. So better you need to save the session, right? So you just type whatever you want. So I will just type 2024 um, logic labs, let's say, and save it. And now I will load it again. So just click on the session, load, and now I can modify whatever I want. So if I want to store my logs, I can store it. Or I want, so let's say this kind of minute features. I don't want a warning for, like, let's say I make a typing, sorry, I made a typo while typing something, or accidentally I'm pressing backspace a lot. Even for that, it will give some alert sound. Okay, so that can be ignored by giving none here. And so this window scroll back. So what this is a very useful one, or and you must change this. So you just give a huge like a 3 million or something. Okay, so what is the use of this is like, let's say you're scrolling back and so you're opening this session and you're using for the whole day. Let's say the whole 8 hours the session is alive. And so like if the as of now by default it will be at 10,000 lines of scroll back, which is huge. But let's say you're using for the one whole day and you're printing a same log 2 to 3 times just to verify, that itself will be consuming a lot of lines, the number of lines. Okay, so in that case, you can't scroll back above that lines. So it will be overwritten. So always give a or make sure you change the settings always while you set up the session for the first time. Okay, so just give a huge number. It can be anything, but at least more than a million. Okay, so at least 1 million above you can give. And the font and all you can change your wish, yeah, the size or everything, and the color also. If you want, you can change it. So I will give the default foreground color as this one, which is green. And yeah, so this connection, so what this is, so every 60 seconds once, if my session is inactive, it will send a none packet. Means a 0 KB packet will be sent to that particular session to keep it alive. Okay, so that's what the purpose of this one. So please do set this one as well. And the data section. So data is root and the auto login password. So what is the password? 1234. So now come back to session and save. Okay, so what I done is first time I saved and load it. Then I made the changes and again saved it. So now if I double click, actually there is a warning like this. Okay, so this warning you must see because for the server or for my base machine, this is a foreign connection or we are accessing this machine using some random uh, connection, right? So for the machine, it is like that. So you can just give accept and you will get this one. So I'm just holding control and scroll. So scroll wheel, if you're using a mouse, you can use that to zoom in. Okay, so yeah, and this is my kitty or the remote connection of the same machine. Okay, so the same server I opened remotely, and in order to show you that, uh, just a sec, yeah. So this is the home directory of the root user, and then let me. I'm already here. LL. So don't worry about these commands. I will show you. So I'm just showing you touch 2024 logic labs Linux or something. Yeah, sorry. I given space, right? So it tried to create two files, but that's fine. So you see 2024 LL and you see Linux. So just now we created these two files. Okay. So yeah, it's the same mission and we are accessing remotely. Why? Because this is how your work environment also because this console view, right? So it will be accessible only by the technician, or you can obviously you can also have access to it, but your server farm will be there, right? So there is another person called as farm engineer. So that guy basically he will be the only one having access to the console of all the missions. So basically, what is a console? So all these like simply I can power off this machine just like that physically. Okay. Physically, this machine will be available somewhere, just like my base machine. Some machine or some in data center, some random machine will be there. Inside that, he have access to power on or off anything he can do, and we also can do remotely, but we are restricted with few access only. One of it is mostly you will have remote this UI will be there but not the full version. Okay, so sometimes or some vendor only allows it, like you're having HP, ILO, so those things you will have the full remote connection. You can see few older machines doesn't have, so you need to rely on him and make changes to it. Okay, so that's the reason you should actually understand or master this remote connection. Then only you can work actually because obviously we don't have access to the data center and no one goes there and work, right? So we are opening a remote connection to the same machine. So since it is a lab, I'm installing in the same server. Oh, sorry, we are accessing the same machine in the same my machine only, like my PC only. Okay, so yeah, it's the same server. Now the first command is your host name. So what is the current host name? So host name or server name, so whatever you can call it, or just host server name. Okay. It is like in this current case, it is localhost dot local domain. Okay. So that's the one. And this actually is a FQDN. So what is FQDN full form is fully qualified domain. And so what is that? So basically you are including the domain. So what is a domain now? Right? So you're having google.com or That .com or .in, so these are all a domain. So basically, you need to pay for it, right? So .in, .edu, and something. Is it anything? It can be. So all these are domains which are there pretty much everywhere. So your company also might have their own. So like let's say TCS.com or anything like that. When our government has their own, so let's say IST.gov. So this is for the time zone. Okay, so like that. So I guess someone raised the hand. Latif, right? So yeah, just a minute, Latif. I will be with you. So yeah, this is the FQDN, and what is the short name for it? So just this local host will make the short name, and yeah, this is the one. Now, we need to change it. So how to change it? Using a command called as hostnamectl set hyphen hostname. And you can change it to whatever you want. So, but I will usually keep it as logiclabs dot local domain. So since we don't have any domain or we don't have a domain controller, so you might ask that, okay, how those websites got the domain? How, in the sense, there is a domain seller out there, and he's the one who controls the domains and provisioning based on the each amount, like whatever they want, they can give it, right? So each like each month or every year, they need to provide certain amount to that specific vendor or the seller. Okay, so or we can also create our own domain using a service called as DHCP, which is Domain Host Control Protocol. So basically, using Windows Server, any version you can use. So let's take 2016. Using that, you can create a DHCP service and you can provision the. It is easy actually. Even in our Linux, we can do, but it's a bit complex in Linux, or it is kind of complicated here, and it's not that reliable as well. So better you can use a DHCP service in your Windows server and create your own domain, and you can uh, use it. So I can even create my own domain like .karthik also I can do, or .logic labs. It's our wish, okay? But that's how you do that. And since we don't have that, I'm just giving .local domain. Let me copy this command and I will just try and cover all. Yeah, Latif. So that's the query, right? So, okay. Yeah. So this will cover all the RHCSA queries and questions. So, let me show you yeah. So if you see this question paper, we'll cover all these and yeah. So all mostly the same pattern it will be asked. If not, also you can actually clear the exam with this course. Okay, so anyhow, we'll cover more than this topics, right? And let's say if I'm taking a session on SD Linux, I will give a how to answer this question, and already the answer is already placed in this text file. Okay, so if you are already knowing this one, you can all see that, right? So, but just for your reference, this is placed. Yeah, but yeah, in order to answer your question, we will cover the RHCSA syllabus. Okay, so so this is the options you can see in your party as well as PT as well. Just give duplicate session and there is one more session open. So what is this while it is opening? So what is this root user and this is called a shell by the way. So what is a shell? Okay, so before that, yeah, Latif, you do have access to that. So just type, yeah, you got link in the chat. So just go to this link and please do bookmark it. So once you press enter while after entering the link, it will redirect to the same drive only, and you will have access to this one. Okay. So this link will be there forever. Okay, so you can use that and just bookmark it, and that will be helpful for you. Okay, so now, yeah, you see, it has changed hostname logic labs dot local domain, and you can change in one more way, which is the actual way we used to change, which is etc hostname. So this etc I will explain in a moment, or I'm not sure. Yeah, tomorrow we'll cover the file systems and all. Tomorrow, in the sense Monday, what is a file system or what is the folder structure, those things. Okay. While we do that, you will have a very easy understanding about what is etc or the purpose of it. And yeah, so either you can use that command, which is hostnamectl. Now let me give just status of it. So you see logic labs dot local domain, and yeah. So all these are virtualization. So this ID is all just a dummy one. It's not the actual ID, which means the ID will be there anyhow, but it is a not a physically you won't have this one, right? So if I reboot my VM, or if I literally delete the VM and creating it back, this are all this any ID you see in the VM, right? So it is a automatically generated one. You can't rely on those. Okay. So always, especially for this kind of machine ID and those things. Okay. So yeah. Now let's see what is a shell, and why shell is a important one. So before that, we saw already what is CLI, which is command line interface, and what is the underlying thing which powers the CLI, or how it is used, right? So CLI, since we don't have a cursor here, so literally this cursor is of no use, right? So just we need to type. So we are having the mode of interaction as a keyboard, and we have this blinking cursor, right? So that's what, like whatever command I type. So let's say I'm typing a very basic one letter as A, it doesn't recognize it. It is means you see, it is giving a term called as bash, and that letter command not found. So actually what it is doing is it is looking for some place or some location inside the server, that whether any command is related to this A. Basically, whether this is there, or is it defined somewhere, right? And using bash. So what is this bash? So this bash is nothing but your shell. Okay. And we will see that. But shell is a interactive tool, or it is the only interactive tool for CLI, for CLI. Okay, so that's the only thing, because without that, since you don't have GUI, you can't use the cursor, or there is no purpose for cursor here, right? So you must type it, and once you type also, the shell need to understand it. But okay, so A we given, there is no output, but let's say I'm giving W, is there any error? Obviously no, and it gives some more information on it. Why? Because this W is defined somewhere in the server, and there is a purpose for this command. Actually, this is a command. Okay. So it recognized it and it given the output of it. So this is the usage of your shell, and it's way powerful in the long run, or especially for your productivity, because just like that you can start and stop service, and you can do whatever you want instead of going through array of settings. So let's say I'm going to change my the same host name. I need to do a lot of things, especially in my mission. Or if I want to disable a security feature in your Windows, I need to do a bit more tasks. Anyhow, it is easy, but the best thing about this one is, let's say I'm going to copy thousands of files. So if I mention star or this wildcard character, it will actually copy the whole thing. Okay. But in our Windows, we need to do Control A. Still, that is also a shortcut, but still, it is not that reliable, I would say. I'm not here against Windows, but as per productivity, this is much more easy and straightforward than your Windows. Okay, so that's the thing about shell. And there are different types of shell. Okay, so the types of shells are, and do keep in mind that all the Linux machines use at least, or which bash is the kind of a market standard. So the bash full form is born as a shell. Okay, so and you have bash is like a market standard, like around 92, I guess, or above 90%. Okay, so I'm not sure the exact number. So it is more than 90 percentile of uh, like the Linux distros use bash. Okay, and you have Kshell, which is on shell. So this is like the person who founded this shell, right? So the initial developer for that. And KShell is used in kind of a legacy servers, um, which means, so what is a legacy server now? So legacy server in the sense servers which are more than 20 plus years, like in late 1990s or like uh, above like our before 2K, I can take it, right? So any mission, it's a K shell will be there, or especially your Solaris, and so which are all based on Unix. So our Linux is also based on Unix, but these are all directly from Unix, like not a Linux distros, right? So IBM AX and your HP Unix, HP Unix. Right? So these are all uses K shell as a default shell. And you have C shell, which is it is kind of depreciated. No one uses this one for many years. So C shell is also there actually. And you have the last interesting shell, which is called as SBIN no login. And it's a non-interactive shell. What is that? Right? So that's a new term, which is basically a shell. Purpose of shell is to interact to the machine, but SP no login is a shell. If a user is introduced or if he has that shell, he is prohibited to use the server or use the shell. How it works is, so let me show you that. So if you see here, all these are having SB no login, and these are all the system users. Okay. So okay, let's take Pulse. So this is a system ID. So just type ID Pulse, and this is an active user, which means the user exists in the server. But if I try to switch to that guy, it will throw this error. This account is currently not available. Not only for once, forever, I can't switch to his ID. Even he has his own shell, but that is a non-interactive one. Basically, that ID is having a purpose to it, right? So what is the purpose? Is to Pulse audio system. That is a daemon service for that, right? So like that, each and every system account has its own purpose, and you should not violate that, right? So let's say that account is purpose only for doing the tasks, and since you can switch to those IDs and do, let's say you can start a service or stop it. So that is against the system, right? So that's the reason they are prohibited to you for you to use. Okay, so it says SB no login is introduced automatically for almost all the system IDs except root. So except root, which is bin back, you see, literally every users is having SB no login uh, as their default shell. Lastly, you have this user one, which is automatically created while we set up the machine, right? So that's what this user one is. Okay, so that's the thing about SB no login. which is an interesting way, right? So even though that user existing on the machine, you can't access it. So yeah, that's the one. And it will throw this error for literally any other user also. GDM, let's switch to this guy. Same error you will get it. Okay. So yeah, that's the meaning of or that is the different types of shell. And mostly you have bin bash or bash. Okay. So yeah. Now, so okay, yeah. Is there any doubts till now? So we didn't saw the cloud setup, right? So we will discuss that and we will wind up for today. And don't worry about these commands, guys. So please don't think that okay, this is I didn't explain this all. Cat, what is W and all. So anyhow, next session we'll see clearly many important commands which are all must needed. So even ID, SU, all these, which are all needed for um, like without knowing that you can't proceed further. So like that important commands with them. Um, so yeah, okay. So I hope there is no doubts. So now let's go to the yeah. So first thing we'll see the AWS, and so this is the link for your AWS. So just type aws.amazon.com, and this is for the people who want to use CSP. So CSP in the sense cloud service provider, and especially if you have AWS, and AWS is a free tier access. So free tier is for 1 year validity. Okay, so and you might ask, okay, what will happen after 1 year? Please do create a new account with the same credit card. So that will work, and there is no restrictions that okay, you can't use the same credit card or debit card, and they do allow debit card or credit card as a payment system. And you might ask me, okay, I myself mentioned it is free tier, and why they're asking for a payment or payment method? Why in the sense, basically, if you are it is free tier for only few services. If you check their official page, it is free tier only for 20 plus services. And let's say somehow you didn't got it and you're enabling or you have started working on few more services. So for that, they will charge you, right? So in that case, obviously, it will be deducted or it will be the cost will be incurred from your account. So for that purpose and for verifying you are a legit person, that's the main thing. The payment is there. So as of now, AWS allows the debit card as well, which is good, right? So yeah, and AWS has been there in the scene for so many years. So it is a very mature cloud service provider, I would say. And they started this trend, and yeah, they are kind of a pioneer on the early boost is there for them because many people start or already migrated, and if they're so let's say some few startups are already running in AWS, which is like your even Netflix uses AWS, and many MNCs uses AWS, and which is quite reliable as well. So their availability rate is very huge one. So mostly you will never see a downtime. So downtime in the sense where time where there is a maintenance for the from the data center. So mostly there won't be never a downtime. And if it is there also, you will be early notified. Okay. So yeah, and let me quickly explain about GCP as well. And both GCP and AWS, it is free tier, and your Azure is a paid one, which means you can use it, but it is free only for a student account. Okay, so you need to again you need to verify you are a student, and there is few process. And I suggest you to go with either GCP or AWS. And I personally suggest you to use GCP. Why? Because it is ease of access. Means if you are having any issue, simply you can use a different Gmail ID and it will be synchronized right away. and the it is giving a $300 credit. Okay, so yeah, you see, get $300 in free credit, which is so in your AWS, you can use only one second. Okay, I'm already logged in. So you are restricted to use only few very low level systems. Okay, which is good and fine for our usage. But if you want to experience a huge one, at least you can experience for a few hours or few minutes if you're really trying pushing your limit and using a huge VM. So let me give an example for that. So if you're just clicking create a VM and yeah, let it load. Let's see. Yeah, so here you see if I give N1, obviously it will be yeah. You see the CPU count is from it can range from not even one core, 0.25 core to 96 core, as well as the memory. You see, zero point 0.6 uh, means 600 MB to 624 gigs. So, which is a huge one, right? So, like that, you can even experiment with these. So, obviously, this much you can't use with your free tier, and few actually you can. Okay, so just for your yeah, like this, or $100 or something, because you have $300 in credit, right? So just for a few minutes you can run it. It does allow you to do. Okay, so like that. Okay, so that's what this is about. Which is at least this option is there. At least you have a confidence that they won't charge you because they are crediting ourselves $300, whereas this feature is not there in your AWS. And yeah, okay. So let me show you how to create in AWS. And yeah, so first thing, once you go to this site, aws.amazon.com, click on sign into the console and log in with your Amazon credentials. And if you don't have already an existing one, uh, please create a new one just for our lab, okay, and use that. So once you create it, automatically it will ask you for the payment. And once that is verified, and the verification is bit easier, especially in AWS, within minutes it will be verified. And once it is verified, this is the actual console you will see. So right away, this is the first home page you will see. And just type aws.amazon.com. And that time it will automatically, once you click on sign in. So let me pause my, yeah, okay, it's already logged in. Yeah, so you'll be redirected to the console page. So yeah, okay. So this is the console. So you can go to the services. All these will be there. So it is, as I told, it is a much more mature um CSP. So you will have blockchain. Many features will be there. So yeah, which is good. But you should not be overwhelmed about uh, many things. So for our training. So you just need to go to EC2, or if you're having hard time with this services page, so just type in this global search EC2. So EC2 full form is Elastic Cloud Compute. Okay, so yeah, EC. So just go to that. So basically the same VMware in cloud or from a data center which is in North Virginia. Okay, so instead of using in your own machine, you're using it from some other data center located. Even we don't know the exact location in North Virginia. Okay. So yeah. So just click on this orange button, which is launch instance, and you can name it anything. So I'll just give you as lab server. And you see one more interesting thing called as Amazon Linux. And this is a AMI. So AMI is nothing but your ISO and Amazon has their own images. Okay. So you see Amazon Linux. So they have their own version of Linux, which is a very basic one. Okay. So obviously you can use that as well, but anyhow, Red Hat version itself is already there. So, and it is also free tier eligible. So you can obviously use this one. And it is a RHEL 9. Okay. And it is the architecture is 64-bit, which is fine. And don't change this to ARM. Okay. So it won't be compatible in few cases. And the instance type is T2 micro. Why? Because that is the free tier eligible. And why I'm not getting this? Oh, yeah, I'm not getting this drop down. Okay, yeah, now it is loaded. Yeah, so T2 micro and T2 micro is the only thing which is free tier eligible. So just select that. And so you have this thing called as keypad. So what is a keypad? So we did type the password in our VM, right? So which is 1234. Simply you can't, obviously they can enable that, but the issue is anyone can simply exploit that and use your VM, which will cost you a lot basically. Okay, so instead of having that scenario, they having a very secure way of authentication, which is key based authentication. And for that, you need to create a keypad, and we will have a dedicated session on this keypad. Okay. So yeah, this is what I told. Like many people did use keypad, but they won't obviously have an idea. Okay, what is the key is about, right? So yeah, so we'll create a RSA key, and it is a putty private key. So PPK. Okay. So PEM also you can use, but better anyhow we configured PP, right? So we can use this one, and that will be downloaded. Okay. And so you need not change this VPC settings and all, and don't change this security group, which is the firewall for your AWS. Storage also 10 gigs is enough. Okay. So anyhow, remaining 20 gigs, because 30 gigs is only available for free tier, which is more than enough. So remaining 20 gigs we'll use in later sessions for our disk management. So if you want, we can add it now itself. But anyhow, I will show you how to do that later. Okay. And that's it. So you're getting a summary page here. And this is the most important one, guys. So if you don't see this info here, which means you might have already used the free tier, or you might have exhausted your account, or something happened to your account if you don't see this one. So if you really don't see this one, please log out and log in with a new ID, because it will cost you. Okay, so the cost will be incurred for your account if you don't see that. So it's a very, very important point, and please check that. This info should be there. So click on launch now. So it's fairly easy, right? So in this case, in VMware, we need to enable the virtualization, and from for our base machine itself, then only we can use it, right? So whereas here, just like that, we launched it. Okay, so yeah, just check this box and refresh. Okay, it is already running. So this instant state is very, very important one. So it is mentioned as running, which is fine. Just check this box and we will get the IP here. Okay. And the DNS of it. So since it is connected to the internet and Amazon owns this data center itself, they have their own DNS. You see, in our local machine, we have as local domain. Whereas here it is Amazon AWS.com, and this is the actual DNS for this mission. Okay, so yeah, just copy, click this box, and do the same setup for your this one, except you need to type the sorry, you need not type the password. Instead, you need to load the key file. Okay, so this one is a AWS 2024 save. Again, load it, and now you can change the this one on the window. Scroll back. Actually, you should give a bit less here. So just give 2 lakh or something. Because sometimes if you give a huge number, it will not work. It will throw some random value here, and it will give some error while logging. So please don't give a huge number for especially AWS or GCP. Okay, so just give 2 lakh, which is also fine. And this connection actually doesn't work, but you can give it. So the issue is, since it is AWS, right? So there is a timeout for this one. So even after 60 seconds, like if it is sending the null packet, still it won't keep it alive. So there is no other choice, but you need to open a new session. Okay. So the automatic, auto login username is EC2 hyphen user. So previously we don't even have an option to change the name. So now they did given an option to change the username. Okay. So yeah, but anyhow, we can use the EC2 user plus SSH. Just expand this one and don't expand auth, just click on auth. You'll get this private key file for authentication. Click on browse and go to downloads. Locate your key. Okay, so this is the putty private key, right? So PPK, and come back to your session and save it. Now open. You must get this alert for sure. Just accept. So now what it done is it did try to log in with the EC2 user. That username it used, it tried with the public key. This key it accepted, and the login is good. And we actually access with remote connection to this server, which is located somewhere in North Virginia, right? So yeah, and please don't change this region also, because anyhow, if there is any latency also, it's fine. So obviously there won't be a huge latency because we are doing a very uh, just for our labs it is not needed. Okay, so you're not doing a very huge task which will impact the latency, or if sorry, it will impact the application if it having the latency involved. We are just doing our lab sessions, right? So it is fine to use the default location, which is North Virginia. Okay, and so yeah, that's it. You connected to the machine. So just type the same thing. So yeah, so this is a command to check for the every feature. So which version it is, so Linux, what is the DNS name, which is the host name. This is the host name, by the way, and you have a version of this is a kernel version, so 5.14, and so this one you can ignore. So yeah, this is the date and time, and which architecture x86-64, and this GNU Linux is the publisher. Okay, so you have that info, date you can type, and by default here it is UTC time zone, and you have cat/etc, the same commands. Okay, so you can type it here. You see, this is the latest one. So 9.3 is the real latest version. So that's what we did install in the AWS. Okay, so you need not worry virtualization or anything. Just like that, you can run it. And this is for 1 year. Okay, so after that, if you're trying to use the same free tier, it will ask you for paying. So better you can create a new account during that time. And if you're having hard time using AWS, you can use GCP. So don't right away create both accounts at the same time, because in GCP, the issue is that $350, right? So that will exhaust, sorry, $300 will be exhausting within 90 days. So you have only 90 days. Within that, you should use that $300. Obviously, you can use a different account after that, but still, you have only 90 days. So if you run out of this 1 year, if you're really you've done it, or you exhausted this AWS account, you can come to GCP, or you can use vice versa. It's your choice. Okay, so in GCP, the same process. Once you click on go to console, for the first time, it will ask you for the payment and everything. So once you're done with that, this is the home page, by the way. So it's like using the material view, which you see in almost every Google services. And the first thing you need to understand is it works in a hierarchy. Okay, so hierarchy in the sense there will be a common project. Under that only every changes you make will be up, like it will take it. Okay, so you see, it is my first project. And if you want to create, let's say this is a production one. If you want to create a test environment like this, you should pick up this new project. The whole setup will be a new one for that project. Okay, so you can even give a new billing account also for that other project like that. Okay, so almost everything will be separate for that one. Okay, and they even included Gemini now for this one. So yeah, so same thing. There is a huge list of services, but just go to search and type VM. Okay, so VM instances. Click that. So there it is called as EC2. Here it is just VM instance and create a new instance. So for the first time, it might ask you to enable API. So you just click on that enable and yeah. So you can use this general purpose E2 and so in your AWS, it did allow you to use one CPU, 1 gig of RAM. Here you can use two CPU, 4 gig of RAM, right? So mostly from this 0.25, it will allocate, yeah, here you see, 2 vCPU, 4 gig of memory. And it will cost you $25, but it won't. It will be costing from that this one to $300 credit. Actually, I did exhausted mine. It is for 90 days, right? And so yeah, if you there will be a pop-up message here as well. It is using so this is used from the free credit. Let me show you my image. Credit. While creating, actually, it will ask you, yeah, not this one. Lastly, it will show you one info. This one. I will show you in the next session. Okay, so I'm not getting that exact image. So lastly, while creating the VM, it will show you that the free credit has been used for this particular instance like that. Yeah, this one. Your free trial credit will be used for this VM instance like this. You must get this pop-up or info while creating. Okay, so in my case, it is not showing. So that's the reason I shown this image because mine is exhausted. Okay, so if I'm running this machine for 1 month, for me, it will cost 250, sorry, $25. Okay, and here also you need not change the region or your zones or anything. So please keep it the default one. You can use lab 2024 or something. You need not change almost anything except the ISO. So I'm not sure why, but by default it is selected Debian. So just go to, and the best thing is here you see even Rocky Linux is available. So Rocky Linux is a open source version of your Red Hat. So similar, it's like a CentOS is decommissioned, or it's there is no update for it anymore. So instead of CentOS, it's Rocky Linux is used. So even that is available. So that's a very good thing. So here you have RHEL 8, 9, and even 7. So we can use RHEL 9 and pay as you go. Uh, must be x86. Sorry, I selected ARM. So this one, x86 64. Okay. Yeah, pay as you go. And size automatically allocate 20 gigs. So you can give 10, but that's fine. So click on select, and yeah, so you will not change anything. And for that image fee, it cost you $43, but still, again, it will be cost from the credit only. So you just click on pay it. The best thing about GCP is you need not even have PT. There is no purpose of PT. It will use the browser based remote connection. Okay, so yeah, it's a very good thing that you need not even set up the kitty. Okay, so right away you can use this for 90 days, which is a ample amount of time for your exams for really preparing. Right, so yeah, I'm not sure why it is taking this long. Yeah, so the IP is populated. The status should be green anytime soon. And for the people who didn't paid for the session, so if you like my way of approach to the sessions, you can go ahead and pay for it. And let me quickly give you the payments name. One second. And this recordings also will be available in the YouTube channel. And yeah, Irfan, no Irfan. So DHCP we will try to see, but not now. Okay, so later, if time permits, we will cover that. Okay, but we don't include that in our syllabus. If you really want to know, I will show you. So there is no issues in that. So this is the payment link, by the way. How to get the ISO image from the Red Hat portal in real time. Okay, perfect. So, a good question. So just type Red Hat 9 ISO. Go here. The first link should be developer.redhat.com. And we have these many things. One second. Red Hat for server and workstations. Yeah, this one. It will ask for the login. One second, let me log in myself. Yeah. So first thing, you just Google. Yeah, in my case, it has already started the downloading. So you just, yeah, I will give this link. So you just go to this link and type, sorry, scroll down and search for Red Hat Enterprise Linux ISO for server and workstation. So you can use this one, and even older versions is also there, Irfan. Okay, so you see, if you click that, see 9.4 is there, 8.10, which is older one, which is also there, and our 8.4 will be, yeah, this one. So this is what I'm using, 9.43 gigs. Okay. And always download the first one, which is this one, DVD ISO. So don't use the boot ISO. It won't be having the full all the packages and all. So always use this, the one with huge size, right? So you can use that. Okay. So 9.3, it is 9.81 gigs, and yeah, please share them. I guess this link, I'm just sharing this link. So yeah, try to access it. If not, just go to this link and don't download any other from this one. So SAP is also there, those things, but download only this Red Hat Enterprise. Okay, so yeah, coming back to GCP. So just select this checkbox again and SSH. So yeah, so the key will be sent to this browser shell and you are good to go. So while we are here, okay, so it is session is there. So there is a command I missed to show you that, which is to switch to the root account from the AWS and GCP. So how to do that is, so since you are already in EC2 user, just type sudo su hyphen root. So using our EC2, you can do few tasks, but it is you can't do or make use of it fully. So this is the command to switch to root user, which is sudo su hyphen root. And you can't do that in the local machine or with the one in this one because already you're logged in with the root and that user won't have it. Okay, so this users does have. So that's the reason it is. Okay, so anyhow, we will provision that later. I will show you how to do that, but always do this one. So just click on authorize and okay. So sudo sc hyphen root and you just type date, sorry, date, uptime. The server is up for 4 minutes and you name hyphen a. So everything will be the same and you can even check the exact version which it is installed. So same 9.3 it will install. Okay. So yeah, because that's the latest one and that's available in the GCP as well. So okay, once you're done with GCP or AWS, don't like you can stop or you need not remove or delete it. Okay, so here I'm just giving stop. You can even suspend, but sometimes a few amount of cost will be incurred, especially in GCP. You need not worry because anyhow it will direct from the trading. So from AWS, actually, you should be a bit worried. So in that case, just click on stop. Just click this one, instant state, stop. Stop. So once you're done with the session, that's it. Then you can log out and actually you can just bookmark this. Automatically it will come to this page and you can start it. Okay. So yeah, it's already time and that's it for the day, guys. So we didn't saw the virtualization and containerization difference. So that one we'll see in the next week, Monday. And yeah, so pretty much we set up our mission and in this one also you just click on suspend here you can use suspend anyhow it's your own mission, right? So you can click on suspend. It will go to this kind of hold state or kind of hibernate. So all the things which are opened will be alive. Just click on resume, it will start it. Okay, so like that. But every time you do the kind of stop or higher suspend, your kitty will be logged out, right? So you see, if I press enter, nothing happens. And the same thing goes for your variables. It is inactive. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, that's it for the day, guys. Then, so happy weekend, and let's see on next session. So the next session we'll see a bit more about the basics. So yeah, thanks for your time. So have a great weekend, guys. Thanks all. Bye bye.